Hey, welcome to today's Q&A, you guys, from the Missoula terminal. As always, we are answering questions. So we as in myself here live, and then Katie in the background. So welcome to today's Q&A. If you guys have a question on a specific area, on what we have available out of that area, please put it in the chat, and then I will go ahead and fill you in on all of the details. Also, if you have experience, if you could include that within your question, then I'll be able to let you know what we pay for your experience and, of course, what our minimum pay is. We have minimum pay, which what that means is that you will make at least that amount per week. So we'll go over some of the details on that, but that went into place, I think in 2020 we put that safety net out there for you. And since then, it has been a great, reliable budgeting aspect for most of our drivers. So I want to kind of go over some of that and some of those details. We'll talk about some of the amenities that we have here at Decker, some of our benefits, and of course, the available positions. So welcome to our weekly Q&A. All right, so before we get too far into things, I do want to do a reminder of some of the road construction that's happening in some of our common running areas. Montana. So out of the Laurel Billings area, there is going to be continuous construction sometime through the fall. I'm not sure how deep into fall, but that's going to be on the scales outside of the Laurel area. So we do have the bypass that we'll be using. The Montana Trucking Association and the DOT have let us know that that's going to be happening until this fall. So be well prepared for that. And within Fort Dodge, on P59 in Fort Dodge, there's also construction. So then that started yesterday. So it's in full swing. So I just wanted to get that out to everybody and let you know that it's there. But you know what? We're used to it, right? It's construction season. It's just going to happen. Well, we figure. We're used to it. Shout out to all of our contestants, our participants, professional drivers who participated in the Iowa TDC this last week. So we had a number of people participating, a couple first-timers even. And then, of course, Felix came away with the third place, and one heck of a trophy. I tell you what, that is a good-looking trophy. A little bit of cash and award there, so congratulations to Felix. Again, Felix he placed third in the flatbed. I was trying to remember what it was last year as well, but job well done, you guys. Awesome. Here are a few pictures from the event as well that you can enjoy. Thanks, by the way, for sending those pictures in. You can see that Lisa was in charge of the camera for a while. Thank goodness, because she's great at capturing the moment. Obviously, we really appreciate it. When you're not there, it's always nice to have someone there that's putting those videos and pictures out for you. All right. Also, the 4th of July is coming up awfully quick. If you haven't already gotten or called Steph to get your patriotic t-shirt or sweatshirt, you still have a little bit of time. The sizes go up to 5X in the t-shirts, and I believe they're $14 a piece. And then the sweatshirts, they're pullovers, right? They're hoodies is what they are. But the hoodies are $32. So $14 for the t-shirts, $32 for the hoodies. Adult, medium to 5X for the hoodies. They come in navy and they come in white. I know the patriotic shirts are always a big deal. They are always a winner when it comes to how many people are looking for those. They've got the front, of course, it just has the Decker logo on the front. Right? It's a little bit different than this. I think it has, no, it's just a little bit bigger than this one. Sorry. And then on the back, it has the U.S. so the flag shaped as the U.S., and then it has an eagle on it, and it says America. So that's what it looks like. They're pretty popular. If you're looking to get one ordered, make sure you get a hold of Steph at extension 2000 or stop by the company store. But they are currently available. There are limited sizes, so check that out if you're interested in it. So speaking of 4th of July, we've got some hours to keep you updated on. There's going to be a little bit of change, obviously, for the observance of Independence Day. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. For the 4th of July, we have the Ford Dodge Truck Shop, the Ford Dodge Trailer Shop, the Inspection Bay, and the Wash Bay will all close on Monday, July 3rd at 11:30 p.m. And then they'll open back up at 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Pretty much everything will be open back up 7 a.m. on Wednesday, July 5th, except for Missoula, which will open up at 6 a.m. So all at the same time, basically, on Wednesday, July 5th. So what else? We've got the prep shop, the body shop, and the decal shop in Fort Dodge. The prep shop will be closing at 5 p.m. on Monday the 3rd. The body shop 3:30 Monday the 3rd, and the decal shop also at 5 p.m. on Monday the 3rd. In Des Moines, Missoula, Mediapolis, and Hammond, those locations will close at 4:30 p.m. on Monday the 3rd and open back up at 7 a.m. And then Bessemer will close at 11:30 p.m. So staying open just a little bit longer, not a little bit, but several hours longer in the Bessemer area. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. All right, so if you also have questions for one of the recruiters and you want to speak to them directly, you'll see the number coming across the screen here, 877-433-2537. That's 877-4-DECKER, and you can get a hold of one of our recruiters directly. So I'm going to dive into some of the available positions because those are usually what we're getting questions on this time of the day here on our YouTube channel. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into that. George, how are you? Good to see you, man. All right, so some of the different hiring areas for our flatbed division. Let's, I've got the map on my head there. There we go. What direction can I go? So here is our, just a kind of snapshot of our flatbed running and hiring area for over the road and some of our regional positions. The yellow is going to represent our running area for the flatbed division, whether you're in the OTR or you're in the home weekly. That's about the running lane. If you're in the home weekly, you're going to stay, and you're out of the Midwest, you're going to stay, for the most part, Missouri and north. So a lot of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania area. Those, for the most part, those are going to be very common areas for you for the home weekly, as well as the OTR in the Midwest flatbed division. In the over the road flatbed division, again, you can see the yellow that's covering it. Of course, red is going to be included in that in the running area. The red is both running and hiring area for our flatbed division. And the southern states, anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas, is going to be included in our over the road flatbed. For areas of home weekly in our southern flatbed or our over-the-road flatbed, you're going to be looking at Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, areas of Alabama, the northern area of Alabama, north of 20, as well in the Georgia, state of Georgia, around Atlanta and north, and then anything east of 95 as well. In the Carolinas. Those should be areas that you're getting home on a weekly basis. Again, if you have questions, if you live in any of those areas and you want to know specifically what we have, then reach out to one of our recruiters at 877-433-2537, and then you'll be able to talk a little bit more about the specifics, not only for the hiring and the running lanes, but more the position itself. So what it entails, what your home time will look like, and the benefits and amenities and all that good stuff. So of course we'll talk about that. In the over-the-road division, you're usually out for 2 weeks at a time. So coming home every other weekend for the most part, and that's in our flatbed division. So if you've got a load that delivers on Monday, you're probably coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning. And then you're probably leaving out either Sunday night or Monday morning for that Monday morning delivery. Now, depending on how far out you are from the delivery, from where you're at home, so if you live in Georgia and you've got to deliver Monday morning in Arkansas, you're going to leave Sunday night in order to get there on time. If you are coming out of Georgia, and you're delivering in Georgia on Monday morning, you might just have to leave Monday morning for that delivery. So if you have any questions on that, like I said, get a hold of one of the recruiters for specifics. Where you're delivering on Monday morning is going to change from week to week. So it's not a dedicated route that's currently available. It is over the road flatbed. So it does adjust, but I kind of wanted to give you a picture of what to expect for the home time on our over the road flatbed division. In the home weekly, you can expect to be home on a Friday night or Saturday morning, and then leaving back out Sunday night or Monday morning. So it's just, instead of every other weekend, it would be an every weekend type scenario. And for when it comes to home time in our flatbed divisions, the home time is usually straddling the weekend, or straddling the pay cutoff actually, which is Sunday night at 10 p.m. So you're usually home at least sometime on Sunday for the home time in flatbed, just because flatbed, it's pretty darn common to not be running on the weekends, right? Saturday and Sunday is just less common for flatbed to have a delivery or a pickup than it would be for the refrigerated division. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about the refrigerated division, shall we? We shall. So with the refrigerated division, you've got, well, let's kind of narrow this down. What you're seeing now is our over-the-road refrigerated. So you're out about 2 to 3 weeks at a time for the most part. The yellow is going to represent the running lanes. The hiring area is going to be represented by the red in the picture that you see here. So get that out of there. So if you're wondering about, well, 2 to 3 weeks, if you live in areas of Washington on there, Seattle, Spokane, south of Seattle, so areas of Oregon, Hermiston, Pendleton, Portland, those are all areas that we can get you home every 2 to 3 weeks. Areas of Montana would be anywhere along 90 from Missoula to Billings. And keep in mind, if you live in Montana, in the state of Montana, you will need to leave the tractor trailer at the Missoula terminal on your home time. Beautiful Montana terminal. So Liam, Ken, and the crew can take care of your truck while you're on home time, so it doesn't cut into any more of your hours. And then, of course, you get to stop in and say hi, right? Here at the facility, sorry, my voice went all wonky. So here at the facility in Missoula, we do have the PDC, or the Professional Drivers Lounge, has the televisions, some couches, some comfy chairs. We have a couple of private rooms, which include a lounge chair, a television, a desk, phone, so if you've got some business that you need to take care of, you can take care of it there. If you are just wanting to rest, have some privacy, and take a nap, those big old lounge chairs are fantastic for that. And with the private room, you can just shut the door and get the rest that you want and need. There is a kitchenette there, or here. So there is a kitchenette as well, and a couple of vending machines also available. We have free laundry available here for all of our professional drivers here at Decker. And if by chance that we are low on detergent or towels, please let us know so that we can go ahead and get those taken care of for you. So we're usually good, but I did see a couple of weeks ago that we were a little bit low on towels. That might have been Bessemer actually. But just let us know so that we are aware of it. If we've got a handful of people coming through and we just didn't recognize that a wash needs to happen, we want to get that taken care of for you so you can use all of the amenities that we have. Lone Wolf Gaming, how are you? Good. Hey. So all of that there. We do have a pet area in Missoula as well, a smoking and pet area. We also have, I think there's a grill out there too. So I'm going to have to go check that out. Every once in a while, when they're grilling, they'll do it in a back area, which is actually a little bit larger with the picnic table and stuff. But if you're looking to grill, there's a spot on the side of the terminal with the grass. Yeah, nice and comfy. What a wash bay here in Missoula. Of course, we have the fuel island and the DEF. So again, if you have any questions, get a hold of us, and we'll make sure that you've got the amenities and resources you need. Speaking of, actually, now that I'm kind of going through what the Missoula terminal has, keep in mind that at Missoula and in Des Moines, and I believe now in Bessemer, I'll have to confirm that Bessemer is already taken care of as well, and of course Fort Dodge, we have after-hours cars available to you. So if you need them, if you're getting work done on your truck, it's in the shop, you've got errands that need to be ran, get a hold of your dispatcher. If it's after hours, get a hold of Night Ops, and they'll be able to give you access to a car. So we now have access. We have created little drop boxes for the keys for the cars for after hours. So you now have the ability to use the cars even if the terminal itself isn't occupied by staff. So like Missoula and Bessemer and Des Moines. So keep that in mind. It's been an add-on here recently. So again, 877-433-2537. Nice to make some of these upgrades for you and accessibility for you a little bit easier when you're at the terminals. So Missoula has that as well. I'm trying to think of what else I might be missing for convenience-wise, but for the Missoula terminal. Des Moines, we have the cars available at Des Moines. We don't have all of the facilities, all the amenities at the terminal in Des Moines as we do in Missoula or Fort Dodge, but that's why we made the cars accessible in the Des Moines area sooner than anywhere else, because we didn't have the laundry facilities, and so we were able to get you guys to the location you need to run some of those errands. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the refrigerated division. 2 to 3 weeks out in our over-the-road refrigerated, we figure for every 7 days you're out, it's a day and a half home time. If you live in areas around Salt Lake City, we've got some over-the-road there. Wyoming, Cheyenne, more so, Denver, Colorado, all part of our over-the-road refrigerated division. We can get you home every 7 to 10 days if you live in areas of Texas, the Carolinas, the areas within the Midwest, especially Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. Midwest is a real heavy freight area for us, whether it's refrigerated or flatbed. You'll notice that through our maps and within our hiring areas. But Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, southern Minnesota, all Kansas, all very good areas for us. So give us a call if you have any questions, 877-433-2537 for the details, and we'll get you all of the hiring area, what the pay is, and again, the pay is based off of your experience. So if you have, when you're trying to come up with an example, I tell you what. So if you're in the refrigerated division, and you're wondering, let's see, we've got 2 to 3 weeks out at a time. Maybe you've got 3 years of experience. You're looking at 57 cents a mile in our refrigerated division. Anywhere from someone who's brand new out of school and needing to go through training, you're looking at 52 cents a mile. If you've got at least 6 months of experience, you're looking to start at 55 cents a mile in the refrigerated division, up to 65 cents a mile for an experienced driver. Now, we do offer a penny raise after 90 days. We also offer a penny raise every year on your anniversary. Up to the cap right now is at 70 cents a mile for experienced drivers. So again, if you have questions, get a hold of the recruiting department at 877-4-DECKER, 877-433-2537 for the details, the specifics, right? Now in the flatbed division, the rate of pay will start a student driver at 53 cents a mile. For an experienced driver, so anyone at least 6 months of experience, you're looking at 56 cents a mile. Let's kind of talk about some of these qualifications for the refrigerated and the flatbed division. They are a little bit different from one division to the next. Let's see if I can't spill on myself here. So with the refrigerated division, we can hire directly from school. So if you're a Class A CDL graduate, you have your valid Class A CDL, then we can hire directly from the school itself. And yes, we do have a reimbursement, tuition reimbursement available. It's up to $6,000. You do need to come directly from the school in order to qualify for that reimbursement. And it pays you $200 a month after you've been here for 90 days, up to that $6,000 tuition reimbursement. So, or tuition total. So if you have been a recent graduate, make sure you bring your finances or your financial paperwork there so that we can get that approved and get that reimbursement rolling for you as soon as your 90 days hit. If you started off, you graduated, and then you went to another company for a month or two, make sure you have a minimum of 6 months before you come aboard. So before you qualify for Decker Truck Line, if you're not a brand new student who just recently graduated, then you'll need a minimum of 6 months of experience with a company before coming aboard as an experienced driver. If you are inexperienced and you just recently graduated and you came over to Decker, then you'll have 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer in addition to the 3-day or the week-long orientation. For inexperienced drivers, it's a 3-day orientation for experienced drivers. And yeah, so a minimum of 6 months of experience for experienced drivers. You wouldn't have to go with a trainer, but you would have the 3-day orientation, which orientation is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You'll have the online orientation before you come aboard. You'll also have the physical and the drug test before you come aboard. If you have a recent physical and it's good for at least another 6 months, that's perfect. We can probably use that one. We just need you to send over the long form to your recruiter and get that signed off on. And then, of course, the urinalysis we'll do ahead of time as well. When you get to Fort Dodge for the in-person orientation, then you'll have the hair follicle as well as the driving test. You'll go over a lot of company policies and procedures before you get your truck assigned and get rip-roaring and ready to go, right? Get started just like you're planning on. Now, that said, if you are a flatbed student and you're in an area of the Midwest, so say you live in Iowa and you're looking to get started in flatbed, you're a recent graduate, we can train you. However, if you live in areas of Alabama or Georgia and you're looking to get into flatbed and you're a recent graduate, we will need a minimum of 6 months of flatbed experience. So the difference is more so we've got the training facilities and the running lanes in the Midwest are a lot heavier for our students than they are in our over-the-road flatbed division. Otherwise, we can train you in flatbed if you have a minimum of 1 year of tractor-trailer experience. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a difference there with the different divisions. So in the Midwest, if you're looking to go into flatbed and you're in areas of the Midwest, you must be a recent graduate, come directly from the school. And again, you'd have your orientation followed by your 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer. When you are with a trainer, whether you're refrigerated or flatbed, you're making $700 for the week, so $100 a day training. And again, that's about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how far out you are once that 2-week periods come around. And once you're done with training and you're headed back to the terminal to get your truck, the one that's going to be assigned to you, and meet your driver manager and all that good stuff, that is roughly about 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer. So again, $700 a week. Orientation pays $500 for the week of orientation if you're a student, 3 days of orientation if you're an experienced driver. So that's going to be a little bit different. The pay is the same, whether for orientation, but it will be only 3 days for an experienced driver versus a week for a student. Flatbed, I'm trying to think of what else. If you need securement and tarp training, that will follow the 3-day orientation for an experienced driver. It will follow orientation for a student as well if you're in the areas of the Midwest before you go out with the trainer for the 2 to 3 weeks. Cool? Makes sense? Excellent. All right. Also, we currently have a sign-on bonus. It's a $2,000 sign-on bonus that is available to experienced drivers. So this sign-on bonus is for experienced drivers only. Again, it's $2,000. It pays within 180 days. You'll get it on your first dispatch, which would be your first settlement, or your second settlement, because your first settlement will just be your orientation pay. So it'll be your second settlement. You'll have at your 30-day mark, so you'll have another $500 installment of the sign-on bonus on your 30-day mark, and then at your 60 and did I get those right? At your 90-day mark and your 180-day mark. There you go. So you'll have 4 $500 installments for that sign-on bonus. Felix, we were talking about you earlier. How are you? Congratulations. Yep. Felix, if you guys missed it earlier, I was mentioning Felix was participating in the Iowa Truck Driving Championships. This is your second year, right? The second year that you've competed? And he placed 3rd in the flatbed division, earning one of the coolest trophies. It was cool looking when it's all glass. Where's that? Hang on. I have a picture for you. Boom. There you go. That's the that's the picture. I know. I had to Photoshop you in there. Like you're floating. All right, well, congratulations. Anyways, where were we? Talking about some of the orientation and all that good stuff. So anyways, that's what the orientation pay is. That's what the sign-on bonus is. Whether you're refrigerated or flatbed, it's only for experienced drivers. And an experienced driver is qualified as someone who has at least 6 months of experience. At the very, very least. And your rate of pay is going to be based off your experience. So if you have 6 months of experience, you as a refrigerated driver, you're going to be starting at 55 cents a mile. 6 months of experience in the flatbed division would start you at 56 cents a mile. That is your rate of pay per mile. Keep in mind, across the board, we do have a minimum pay. So you can budget. I know that's not common for the trucking industry. We're trying to make it more common. But we've got the minimum pay. You know you will make at least $1,000 a week gross each and every week. And if your rate of pay per mile and the miles that you run, if it exceeds that $1,000 minimum, that safety net, you'll get the better of the two. So we will continue to do that. Thankfully, that went into place during the peak of the pandemic, and we put that in place as a safety net for our drivers to make sure, because we knew that as the influx of freight and miles had started to increase, we knew that eventually it would start to fall and level out back to the pre-pandemic numbers. And we wanted to make sure that we had something in place to work for our professional drivers so they didn't have these big peaks and valleys. They had that to protect themselves. And we will continue to use that. So you're welcome, Felix. So if you guys have questions whatsoever about that, if you're wondering what is this minimum pay thing? What are you talking about? Basically, this minimum pay guarantees that you're going to have at least that $1,000 a week that you can budget off of. You do need to be available at least 5 days out of the week. So no load refusals, no driver service failures, so no late loads. Now that's a little bit different story, and I get asked this all the time. If you're late because the shipper or receiver because of the shipper or the receiver. That's different than a driver service failure. Driver service failure is possibly a poor planning on your part, or just a late load. You came out of the house late. That's something that would be the fallback on you for time management versus the shipper or the receiver being at fault for the delay. So keep that in mind. So, okay, what was it again? Be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals, no driver service failures, no CSA points for the week. So no violations, no preventable accidents for the week. That's number 5. And the 6th qualification for that guaranteed minimum pay is get your paperwork in on time. You have until Sunday night at 10 p.m. to get your paperwork in order to get your minimum pay, at least your minimum pay for that following Friday direct deposit. Now, again, I'm going to stress this, your miles and your rate of pay can definitely take the place of that minimum pay. You're going to get the better of the two. So keep that in mind. Continue to manage your time well. If you are wondering how to increase the amount that you're bringing home on a weekly basis, and if you're noticing that, hey, I'm getting this minimum pay, I want to make more than that, what can I do? Talk to your driver manager and see, am I not managing my time well enough? Am I just not getting the miles? How can I improve on that? That's where the communication with your DM is very important. Let them know what you're looking for. So that's whether it's refrigerated or flatbed, that minimum pay, the qualifications for those 6 criteria that I gave you. I know they're pretty basic, but you got to have something out there, right? Make sure that everything's lining up for you. But that is the same whether you're refrigerated or whether you're flatbed. The only difference that you see is with the refrigerated division, those 5 days that you're available could be on a Saturday or Sunday, technically in the refrigerated division, where in the flatbed it just doesn't work that way because loads aren't always delivering on a Saturday or a Sunday. So keep that in mind. If you have questions, more specifically, talk to your recruiter and get the details. So again, that's 877-4-DECKER, 877-433-2537. Felix said, yes, this is his 2nd year competing in the Iowa Truck Driving Championship. So yeah, love it. It's a crystal wheel. I know, it's super cool. I want an award like that. Okay, Charlie. Hey, Charlie, how are you? McCord says, I miss my home daily run out of the Chicagoland. Yes, we had some of those, didn't we? We have currently out of there, hang on one sec. Currently out of the Chicago area, we do have home weekly in the flatbed division. It guarantees a minimum of $14.50 a week. Again, that's flatbed. In the refrigerated, the minimum is $1,000 a week, and it is home every 7 to 10 days. So I have 2 different options. Let me pull up the yellow here in the flatbed division is going to represent the running lanes. And now this is actually a poor example because in flatbed, you're probably going to stay north of, if you live in Chicago and you're running the home weekly, you're probably going to stay north of the St. Louis area, St. Louis and north, and then probably west of Pittsburgh and east of Denver and Minneapolis and south, I would say. Most likely, but that's home weekly if you live in the Chicago area. For Chicago in the refrigerated division, you're probably going to run a lot of up and down the Midwest. So Texas, north to Minnesota, into Minnesota. You could go as far west as the Denver area, Cheyenne as well. So Denver, Colorado, Cheyenne, Wyoming. So that's about every 7 to 10 days in the refrigerated division. So those are going to be your options if you live in the Chicago area. Charlie says, I run Lease for Decker, been here for 2.5 years. Yes, so that leads me into talking a little bit more about, you know what I didn't do yesterday, you guys? I did not do birthdays and anniversaries, and I didn't do the shout outs for that. I'm gonna have to do that. Why did I not do that? Okay, so anyways, for the lease, we now require that you run with Decker for a minimum of 90 days before the lease purchase is available to you. But the lease purchase program, it isn't for everybody. I don't want any pie in the sky expectations. The lease purchase program can be an awesome program for somebody who does have a good business mind. So you know your numbers. We pay 72% of the load plus the fuel surcharge. So you get the fuel surcharge on top of your 72%, and the equipment is normally a 2,000. Well, they're new equipment for our lease purchase. So you're looking at newer equipment, 23, 24s, most likely a 579 Peterbilt, and they come fully equipped. The only thing that's different between the lease purchase equipment and the company equipment is, as a company driver, Decker pays for the Epic View satellite TV. That's $16 a week for an owner-operator or lease purchase driver to purchase. So that's really the only difference between the setup of the truck. They're double bunks, they have APUs and refrigerators and bunk heaters and CB units and microwaves, and they still have the 22-inch television. What else am I missing, you guys? There's so many things to that. But yeah, now, before we did allow lease purchase coming directly into Decker, now we do require that you have a scorecard, which is one of our monthly performance indicators. That you have a scorecard of at least 850 or above, and you have a minimum of 90 days with Decker before you do the lease purchase program. And not all states, we don't do lease purchase in all 48 states. There are a select few that we don't offer the lease purchase in. So again, if you have questions, if that's something that you're looking at, please reach out to the recruiting department so that we can give you specifics. It's 877-433-2537, so that you know what to expect and make sure that it aligns with what you're wanting, that it's a good fit for you. But yes, the lease purchase plan, it's a 4-year lease term, and it works great for some. It is not for everybody. If you are not business minded, if you do not run it like a legit business, it would be hard. But yeah, it does create some great opportunities for people for that lease purchase program, and some good write-offs too, right? Oh, and as I see one go by. All right. What else? Speaking of trucks, let's talk a little bit. As a company driver, your truck could be anywhere from a 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, most likely a 579 Peterbilt. We do have some 860, 780, and 760 Volvos available in Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. Now, what's available is going to be different from one week to the next, and I wouldn't be able to promise you. If you're talking to a recruiter and you're saying, "Hey, I'm only going to drive a Volvo," and all I've got available are Peterbilts, obviously I wouldn't be able to promise you a Volvo that week. So keep that in mind. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't be able to work with you to try and get you into a Volvo eventually. It just, initially, it's not something that I could promise you. Lisa does a fantastic job of working people into their preferred equipment, but yeah, just right out of the gate, it's not always the case. But these are all really well equipped. They have the free Wi-Fi, they have the Epic View satellite TV, they have the TV. It's a smart TV, the double bunks, the microwaves, the refrigerators, did I say CB units? The CB units. They do have both inward and outward facing event recorders. Those kick on during a critical event. So there is not a live feed. The program that we use is Epic, or nope, is, what do I want to say? Oh my gosh, all I could think of is Smart Drive. Anyways, we have the inward and outward facing event recorders. If you guys have questions on it, make sure that you get a hold of one of the recruiters. The recruiters for the details, 877-433-2537. Yes, we have the TransFlow systems in the trucks. So inward and outward, that's lytics. Sorry, I don't know what was dropping my mind there. So that's the lytics system that we have. And the lytics system also allows us to do an additional safety bonus, monthly safety bonus, in addition to our scorecard indicators as well. So we have those 2 monthly bonuses available to our company drivers, our lease purchase drivers, our owner operators. So we have that as well. Am I missing any details on that part? Not that I know of. They're really well-equipped trucks. Larger, they're the Ultra Loft for the refrigerated side. They are the Whisper units. Whisper. Yeah. What else can I tell you? Oh, I'm totally bouncing over. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up our birthdays and anniversaries, which I totally did not do yesterday. And it's one of my favorite things to do each week, so I'm quite disappointed in myself. Brandy Presley, huge shout out for birthday yesterday. Husan Alkmatar celebrating a birthday today. Levi Anderson celebrating a birthday today. Julian Bell also celebrating a birthday today. And tomorrow, Paul Heeman celebrating a birthday. Robbie Munson celebrating a birthday. Richard Remy celebrating a birthday. Dakota Cummings also celebrating a birthday on the 29th. Larry Dew celebrating a birthday on the 29th. Michael Galligan also on the 29th. The 29th is full, by the way, if you haven't realized. John Jablanc celebrating a birthday on the 29th. And Kebrin Lemkin celebrating also on the 29th. Huge shout out to all of you guys with birthdays coming up. Albert Gupton and Robert Nixon celebrating their birthdays on the 30th. And then in our office and our shop and throughout the terminals, we have a birthday for Ryan Aspenson. That was yesterday, so shout out to Ryan. Aaron Stormer celebrating a birthday. That was on the 25th. Is that Sunday? Yeah. Lindsay Sporer also on the 25th, and Logan Hand celebrating our birthday on yesterday. Celebrating birthday yesterday. Anniversaries we had this week. Dominic McClure celebrated on Sunday an anniversary for 2 years. Tom Melton celebrated his 15-year anniversary yesterday. Tom was on our Facebook Live yesterday, and so I missed it. Shout out to him today for his 15-year anniversary. Tom was our 2022 Driver of the Year for Flatbed, actually 19, 20, 21, 22. Driver of the Year for our Flatbed Division, Midwest Flatbed Division, but our Grand Champion for 2022. So the Grand Champion means a big poobah, right? An extra $15,000 in prizes. So bonus. Sean Swells, Sean, owner-operator. He, for 5 years, owner-operator here at Decker for 5 years. Owner-operator / lease purchase, because it was it about 6 months ago, Diane, Sean, that Sean purchased his truck outright? I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been closer to a year ago. David Brown celebrating an anniversary coming up on the 29th as well. Michael Osborne celebrating 7 years here at Decker as of the 29th. And we've got Ryan Trotter celebrating his 1 year in our logistics side. David Stevens celebrating 4 years in our maintenance department. Thomas Jensen celebrating 3 years as well, one of our mechanics. And Brian Witten celebrating 14 years taking care of our grounds. Thank you, Brian. 14 years. So, yes, I know. This is my favorite thing to do, and I missed it, you guys. I'll tell you what. Speaking of miss it, do not miss out on the opportunity to get your T-shirts, the patriotic T-shirts. There aren't a ton of sizes left, so make sure that you get a hold of Steph to confirm yours, all right? Now, I hit on this just a minute ago when I was giving the shout out to Tom for his 15 years of service here at Decker. But in order to get the grand champion or even the driver of the year for the division, you have to first obtain driver of the month. So the criteria for driver of the month is going to be based off of your scorecard, which is your on-time delivery. So delivery and fuel compliance and idle time and miles and claims and yeah, so the 7 criteria, right? So those are the 7 criteria. Now, not only is it based off of that, it's also based off of your safety score, so your lytics system, right? So you want a higher scorecard, 1,000 points is going to be the top, and a lower safety score, so 20 points or below is going to get you an extra penny per mile on the safety side. Perfect score being 0, of course. So high end 1,000 for scorecard, low end is the safety for 0, and that's the ideal, right? Now, if your scores are in alignment with those bonuses, then you have, not only do you get the bonuses each month, but you go into the running for the driver of the month. The driver of the month places you towards driver of the year. So you can only get driver of the month one time within a 12-month calendar year. You can then get driver of the year, obviously, multiple years in a row. Tom Melton's a great example of that, as well as several of our previous grand champions and driver of the years. You see that often. They know how to manage their time. They have figured it out. And then we also have the driver of the year. So again, driver of the month goes to driver of the year. It gets narrowed down even more to the one grand champion, and that's the $15,000 prize. That's usually given out around March, April of the following year. So in 2024, we'll award the 2023 grand champion. So that being said, our driver of the months for May, because it's always the month previous that we're able to award, our refrigerated van home weekly regional position, Greg Narciso, celebrating as the winner. Donald Lamb and Eugene Pearson are our runner-ups. You can see this is probably our larger division, is our refrigerated van based out of the Midwest there. And so we do have 2 runner-ups. You can be runner-up multiple times throughout the year, but you can only win the Driver of the Month title one time. Our Western over-the-road refrigerated van division, Lydia Dietrich is claiming the title for May. So congratulations, Lydia. Gary Strong is our runner-up. Congratulations, Gary. For each of the winners, they do get a $100 gift card, as well as a gift card to the Decker store as well. And then our Midwest Flatbed, Tyler Ash, celebrating the winning circle there. In our over-the-road flatbed division, Bradley Hamilton. Congratulations to Bradley. Our runner-up, Antonio Fernandez. Congrats, Antonio. And owner-operator lease purchase, Matthew Neerling is our owner-operator. Winner for the month of May. Congratulations. So yeah, love it. Again, if you guys have any questions about how that works, what it's all about, please reach out to our recruiting department at 877-433-2537, 877-4-DECKER. We'll get you over to one of the recruiters, and they'll be able to give you more specifics based off of the hiring area, what experience you have, where you live, and all that good stuff, what you're looking for, right? All right. Okay. Well, again, I appreciate you guys taking the time to visit with me today. Let's get those recruiters busy. We'll talk a little bit about the benefits here before I leave you for the day. Our benefits start after 60 days. Not 90 anymore. It is now 60 days. And I did mention the sign-on bonus available to all of our experienced drivers. For our benefits that start at 60 days, we have medical, dental, vision, prescription. We have a $0 generic program, which has been an add-on to our benefits here recently in the last, what month is it? Yeah, last 6 months or so. So it's $0 generic. There are some brand names and some specialty that also fall under that $0 copay, but definitely all the generics. Keep in mind that Walgreens and CVS are exceptions to that, but other than that, they're $0 generics. And then we also have a 50% match on the 401k. So we have a 50% match on that as well. 6 years fully vested. And again, get a hold of one of the recruiters for all the specifics. 877-433-2537. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day into the rest of your week. We will talk to you next Monday. Next Monday is the end of the second quarter. So what does that mean to you? That means that you can be part of the referral bonus drawing. So if you've referred somebody within the second quarter, your name goes into the hat for a chance to win a tablet, a laptop, or $1,000. Now, $1,000 is what all of our winners have chosen since 2019 when we started this program. And I'm curious to see if that will continue. But either way, we will be drawing on Monday for the second quarter of 2023, the referral bonus drawing. So join me then. We'll also be going through our 4 p.m. Central Time Q&A on our Facebook channel. We will not have our live on Tuesday with, obviously, Independence Day, the 4th of July, office hours being closed. But we look forward to everything coming up next week. Take care.